Currently on a 9-game win streak, sitting at
Yes, sir.
14-5, second place in the Eastern Conference, the Orlando Magic. So I'll pose two questions to you guys. How have the Magic been so good? What's been the key to their 9-game win streak? And then the second question will be, can they keep this up? And are they legit threats in the Eastern Conference?
You want to go first, Tom? You want me
So
to?
I'll go first because I had a hot take about the Magic that they would finish as the 4 seed, and honestly, I thought it was psychotic back then, but it's not looking too bad right now, you know.
It'd be
So
great.
I have some numbers. These are as of before the Wizards game, so they might be a little skewed, but they still paint the picture. The Magic are currently second in net defensive rating. Um, they get to the free throw line a lot. I believe they lead the league in attempts and makes, or one or the other. They're very good at getting to the rim. They're sixth in the league in points per game in the paint. The one gripe about their offense is obviously the shooting. Over 42% of their shots come at the rim, and the second and third, that's first in the league by a wide margin. Second and third is the Hornets and Pistons, who are obviously not good teams. So that needs to change. That's as of the dunker spot too. I saw them on JJ Redick's channel. Good guys, check them out. The Orlando Magic are here sooner than expected, like a premature baby, but they are here, man. They are balling. Their energy is elite. The thing about the Magic, like we said, they're shooting. They're really good at spacing the floor. They're in the right spot. They move off the ball really well. They just can't knock down shots. Currently, their only good shooter, really, their only reliable shooter is Gary Harris, who has been really good for them. He's shooting over, I think, like 42% from the field or something like that. He's knocking them down. But they're 27th in the league in three-point percentage. Franz Wagner is shooting less than 30% from three right now. I don't expect that to continue. So if he can get up around 35% from the field, which is pretty average, I think that will really change things. And their bench, man, they've had the best bench in the league. You got Mo Wagner, Jalen Suggs, bro. I can't say enough about Jalen Suggs. I love this guy. I was telling Obi before the show, I was like, I think I might get a jersey. His energy is unmatched. And what he does on the ball, his on-ball defense is terrific. His off-the-ball defense is terrific. He's poking the ball away a lot, and then he's just hyping himself up. He's hyping his team up. He's hyping the crowd up, and the energy just like translates to the field. He's all over the place, man. He is everywhere, and then he's shooting well from three. He's averaging like 12, 13 points per game, somewhere around there. And the last 2 points I'm going to make are Anthony Black has been really good. I know before the season we had questions about the fit, not so much about the prospect Anthony Black, but the fit with the Magic. But he fits right in, man. His intangibles have been really good. He moves well on defense. His defense has definitely translated. He's smart with passing the ball. He's great in transition, and they even got Goga Bitadze. He's been starting at center on this streak because Wendell Carter's missed, I think, all 9 games or close to it. Yeah, and he's been solid for them offensively. He's not great defensively, but just they're getting more than what everyone but me expected to from these guys, and it's fun to watch, man. They really are. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, piggybacking off of that, what you were talking about, Jalen Suggs. I think I was talking to OB. Well, OB is definitely one of the people I was talking about, and I remember like we went back and forth, and I was going crazy about Jalen Suggs as a defender, as a potential prospect. And I think going into the draft, OB was saying that like getting Anthony Black would have been like a nice little thing for like the Magic to do. That he was a great prospect, and I was saying like right after they picked him, I was like they don't need him because Suggs is phenomenal. Yeah. And I still stand on the fact that regardless how Anthony Black plays, I still feel like that was a completely and totally wasted pick. I know for a fact that picking Jet Howard was a completely and totally wasted pick. The entire nation knows that now. Well, they knew that on draft night, but so it's a complete waste. But getting back to that, the Magic, the source of their success, like you were saying, their points in the paint. I think it's absolutely phenomenal that they have so many people that are shooting around 50% and with volume. Like Franz Wagner is shooting like almost 50%. Paolo shooting around 50%. Even Cole Anthony is shooting like 44, 45 or something like that. Suggs is shooting 45, 46. It's field goal percentage all across the board. So many people shooting really efficiently from the field. I feel like that is something that can continue. Also the passing, like Paolo's done a great job distributing. They just have a lot of guys that are finesse finishers that are just really, really efficient shooting in the paint. It's not just all dunks or all just like sets and creating layups. There's a lot of people that just know how to finish smoothly inside. And so I feel like that's something to continue. They may not remain or finish the season as the 4th seed. I feel like they will end the season somewhere between 5 and 7. Like an early play-in team. I don't know if they won't be a play-in team, but they definitely will make the playoffs. I'm certain of that. I feel like if they were in the play-in, they will make it out. Yeah, so great team. I feel like I said, I just don't feel like Anthony Black was the answer. I feel like if these guys had if they had Hawkins right now or even Grady, we would be in serious, serious trouble. Just having a guy like that can shoot really, really well.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's my main thing. What you think?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean the Magic, they clearly have a recipe here of how they're gonna beat you. They're gonna outwork you and they're gonna out physical you, and you see that in their stats. I think it's very, very, very interesting. Their stats, they're 5th in opponent points per game. Their defensive rating is amongst one of the best in the league or hold on, sorry. Bear with me 1 second. They're 2nd in the league in defensive rating at a 108.4, but in terms of the percents they're giving up, they're about middle of the pack in terms of, opponent field goal percentage, opponent 3-point percentage, and stuff like that. But they're amongst the league leaders in fewest attempts. And then you look at the steals, they're amongst the league leaders in terms of steals. And it starts with Jalen Suggs.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Suggs, his impact defensively, he is having a defensive player of the year type of year with his impact defensively on the perimeter. I mean, when they need a stop, he just is always making the right play, whether it's poking the ball free and diving on a loose ball, whether it's getting a block. I mean, like I was saying to Tom before we started the show last night, I'm watching the broadcast, and they're in a close game with the Wizards with about 5 minutes left, and they made it a point on the broadcast to say something along the lines of, this team is just waiting for one explosive play that's going to get the crowd involved, and then they're going to go on a run and win this game. A few plays after that, Jalen Suggs gets a huge block, pushes it in transition, and they end up getting a dunk, and the crowd erupts. They take the lead or they go up by 4, whatever it was, and then they never look back. And granted, it's against the Wizards, who are amongst the worst teams in the NBA, but this is every night. This is an every night occurrence over this 9-game win streak. Jalen Suggs, amongst one of the league leaders in terms of deflections too. He just seems to always be in the right spot for this team, especially when they need it the most. When the going gets tough, when it's a close game, he's just in the right spot. We've all noticed he's improved his shooting. His percents are up across the board. And one of the more underrated storylines of the season is the way Paolo Banchero is shooting the ball from 3.
Yeah.
Shooting 46% from 3.
Really,
and one of the concerns with the Magic was the spacing around Paolo and Franz, but when Paolo's spacing the floor like that and shooting that efficiently, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's been great. He's taken strides as a playmaker. He's averaging 5 assists per game, but Paolo's playmaking is deeper than the assist numbers. This team is just well-balanced. They're unselfish. They share the ball. They play efficiently. They get 2s and 3s. It's not a lot of, contested mid-ranges or tough mid-range shots. It's 2s and 3s, and they hustle their ass off defensively. I mean, they're a tough out right now. So, like I said, there was 2 questions. That answers the first one. How have they been so good? But do we think they can maintain this level of play? I mean, they're a top 2 seed right now. So I'll ask the question like this. Do you guys think the Magic could finish as a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference and maybe even win a playoff series?
Win a playoff series, yes. Be top 4 in the conference, no. Well, actually, the playoff series, see, my issue is somebody as good as they've been, somebody needs to start shooting. Like, they need to find a way. Like, I think when the trade market comes around, like, Do I feel like when I was laying out those trades for Zach LaVine, I felt like the Warriors would be the most likely destination. The Warriors are the type of team that would make a move like that because they did that before. But the Magic need to get a shooter. If it's not Zach, it could be somebody lesser on the lesser side, but they need to get somebody in there that is like just somebody. It's just like, okay, your job is to shoot. And however they need to move their lineup around in order to accommodate that, they have to do that, because one of my issues with them is their offensive guard play. Guards are usually where you get your shooting from, and they're not really getting the majority of the three-point shooting from their guards. Anthony Black, as good as he has been defensively, he's kind of like lax in the sense where he's afraid. It almost seems like he's afraid to shoot sometimes when they leave him open. Like they will leave him open for threes and he will not shoot it. He's afraid to take it. And so they rotate him out and then they put in Fultz. But Fultz does not have the intensity and defensive capability to do what Black does or Suggs does. And so when they want those explosive plays, they'll rotate Cole Anthony in or they'll rotate Suggs in. But then Cole Anthony doesn't have the defensive, and you can't trust Suggs to be your primary ball handler the entire time. And that is when they rotate back to Black and Fultz. But it's a revolving door of you're not getting shooting, you're not getting intensity. They need to make a trade to get one of those things and at least multiple of those things in one guy and have that be their starter. However, whoever they need to move, whether it's Cole or Suggs or Fultz or even Black, who they just drafted, to get somebody that can do two of those things and have them be one of the guards, they need to do it. And I feel like if they do something like that, I will say that they can finish top 4 and they will win a playoff series.
Yeah, I think Markelle Fultz is clearly the odd man out. And if anyone's going to get traded, it's going to be Markelle. Do I think they could finish top 4? I'm going to say no. I think there's a good amount of teams that they're competing with for that spot. I think the Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers are top 3. Or maybe not top 3, but the locks to be the top 4, we'll say.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks are in the running. The Heat are obviously in the running.
Indy's in the running too.
Indy's in the running. I think Cleveland's in the running. And call me crazy, the way Trae Young's playing over his last 5 to 6 games, I think the Hawks are still in the running too if Jalen Johnson gets healthy soon enough. So I think there's a good amount of teams fighting for that spot. So I just think the odds are against them. Do I think they could win a playoff series if they finish as that 4 or 5 seed? If they don't have to play the Celtics, Bucks, or Sixers in the first round, then yes, I think they can win. I think all those other teams I listed, I think they could beat them in a series. Would I pick them? I don't know. Can they beat them? Yes. The Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers, I don't think they could be in the series yet.
Yeah. Can they finish the top 4 seed? Look, like I said, I made the prediction before the season. I think they can, because you named all those teams, and I think they can definitely be better than those teams. I don't know that they will, though. Like, I'm not saying it with full-fledged confidence. Yes, they're going to be a top 4 seed.
Stand on your business.
Stand on my business. Yeah. If I'm going to pick one, I'm picking the Magic. And can they win a playoff series? Absolutely. Can they beat the Sixers, Bucks, or Celtics? I won't go that far. I haven't seen that yet. I do think they need to improve the shooting in order to do that, because they play a team like the Celtics are going to get locked down on the perimeter, and it's going to be, or they're going to clog the paint. Yeah, they play the Bucks, they're going to clog the paint, and it's going to make things really hard on them. But yeah, you know what? I will say they can finish a top 4 seed. Absolutely. Magic are super talented head to toe. If they can go make that trade for a volatile shooter, and even the guys on the roster, like I said, Franz Wagner shooting sub 30 from 3. If he can put together a string of games where he shoots really well, Gary Harris has been really good.
I think Franz is averaging 30 over his last 3.
Franz is averaging 30 over his last 3,
exactly,
and 22 over the course of the season.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, he's getting it going.
Absolutely killing it. Like I said, these guys are good at spacing the floor. There, if you watch the game, they're in the right spots all the time.
That's the scary part.
Down to knocking down shots.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Is they're this good without being one of the better shooting teams. It's like if they, like you said, the shoe. It's like if they go out and make one move and add one really elite shooter, and Franz's 3-point shot comes along, and Suggs and Powell maintain this level of shooting, like they're really a shooter away. Like if they drafted Jordan Hawkins, we're having a completely different conversation because of how good Jordan Hawkins has been. But like they're really a shooter away. So
yeah, they really sold the bag with the draft, and it's tough to say that and be like, wow, they're still really playing because they are still playing really well. But just imagine if they had Grady Dick or Jordan Hawkins.
I don't know what possessed them to take Jett Howard. Whoever that guy is, regardless of how good they play, that guy should be fired. I don't know what possessed. There's nothing.
I mean,
Howard's game.
I was very, very vocal about that. I hated their draft. I really didn't even like the Anthony Black pick, but I guess the Black pick makes sense to be insurance for Fultz. But now that Fultz is out and you're seeing you could win with Anthony Black, it's time to trade Fultz. That was my concern was drafting Anthony Black. Now you have to make another move. So now you see you could win with Black. Go out and make that move. The Jett Howard pick, I don't know if it's going to go down as a complete miss. I do think he has some game. There's a reason why he was regarded as pretty much a lottery talent. Like, I think I was a little bit lower in him. I probably had him closer to the 20s range on my board, but there's a reason why people were very high on him. He could score the ball and he can shoot the ball. I just, like I said at the time, I'll still stand on it. This team needed more of a pure shooter, and there were pure shooters in the draft class in Jordan Hawkins and Grady. So I wasn't a big fan of their draft class, but I think that's what makes it all the more impressive was because I thought I was also vocal about the fact that I thought the Magic had to nail this draft. Not that I didn't think they were a good up-and-coming team, but I thought this past draft was the difference between them being a good up-and-coming team and them being a playoff team and a dangerous team. But they're becoming that despite that. So I think if they could find a trade for Fultz, and maybe if Jett Howard does develop as the season goes on, like we're having different conversations.
Yeah, I think
shout out to Magic.
Shout out to Magic. I mean, they got Joe Ingles out there running pick and rolls and like successfully. It's crazy. Jamal Mosley is doing a hell of a job with this team. He really has them thinking that they're one of the best teams in the East, and they've been to start this season. Absolutely.